Day one of that tournament, I get a call from Megan, my wife, and she tells me she's pregnant. I'm in this 3,500 now knowing, okay, I got 2 kids on the way. And then that kind of like totally switched my brain, and I said, I need to win. I'm not, this isn't for fun, like I need to win now. I was born in Alaska. I don't remember too much. I have like 1 or 2 vague memories. I moved to New York with my grandmother. My father got in some legal troubles. He went to prison in Alaska. And my mother at the time just wasn't capable of raising me. So I got shipped to New York with my grandmother, which may sound bad, but it was the biggest blessing of my life. She always told me, she's like, you're gonna be an actor or something, you know, she's like, you're gonna be famous somehow. Like, she always thought I would be, which I still remember that. And, you know, she loved gambling. Our vacations, we would go to Atlantic City and she would play poker and slots and everything. And I still remember that as a kid, like, just kind of being around, like, hearing slot machines and just being around the casino vibes and stuff, which, you know, people may think aren't great, but it was some of the best memories I have just being a kid. She would have friends over at her house and they would play cards at night, and like, I can just remember being in my room and it'd be past my bedtime and they'd all be just playing cards, having a good time, and I'd run out there when I was supposed to be in bed, and they'd let me sit and hang out. And during her free time, she'd always have poker like up, like online poker, full tilt and stuff, and so I would sit there and watch her play. And she would let me take over sometimes and play, which was obviously cool at the time. I didn't think anything of it, but you know, everything obviously molds you into the person/player you're gonna be. So a big thing for me was probably athletics saved me in a way, because I had a good support group with coaches and teachers, mainly coaches that just like were looking out for me even extra, like, you know, wanted me to stay on the path, and it gave me discipline. I was always, and I loved the competitive edge to it, so that kept me kind of straight and on the right path. And then luckily God gave me a good brain, so it was kind of just like, you know, you gotta make your path, and I was just like ready to do whatever it took. So I was financially not really ready for college, and I had the money, so I was just already determined I'm just gonna go to the workforce and just start making money. And I got a job opportunity in New York City, and then while I was working, I was playing basketball like every day. Just still had that hoop dream kind of in me, where I'm like, I'm still gonna go to college and play ball. And I was making small money, but it was money. And then that's kind of where poker kind of started for me over again, because I started getting into private games there on the weekends. You know, in like 6 hours of playing cards with these guys, I was making what I was making in a month, working very hard, doing construction. So I was like starting to think like, maybe I'm in a wrong gig, you know. And then an opportunity came up with basketball, so I kind of went after that. That ended up turning into me going to college, but also playing poker almost every day and skipping college a lot because I was near Turning Stone Casino again. And that's kind of where the story starts for me with poker, seriously, is right around then. The game that gave me my path in poker was Limit Hold'em. There was a 20-40 Limit Hold'em game, and then they had a 50-100 Limit Hold'em game on Fridays at Turning Stone Casino. And they beat me up again for like the first month or two. I'd go there, lose, go there, lose. But then eventually I started getting it. And then once I got it and got comfortable, it was over. One of the biggest moments was I went there and I was like down on my luck kind of bad. I had like 1,000 left in my name, and I sat in the 20-40, and I ended up having the biggest winning session that any players ever had in that game. And those guys played every week. I ended up running up 1K to like 14,000 in a Limit Hold'em game. At that time, I was like, all right, I'm gonna take this really serious. And then I started playing every weekend, started building up a roll. And then luckily, a new casino opened up in Schenectady, New York, called Rivers Casino. I realized that, wow, you were in like the wrong game selection. That's huge in poker, obviously, it's game selection. And at the time, I'm playing against people that played every day, all day, old guys that don't want to lose $500. And then when you go and play people that are coming with $10,000 ready to lose it in a night, it's a whole different game. And that's like, I just started dominating, and I ran that 11K roll up to like 60, 70,000. Then I actually did a few tournament stops with my friend. He took me to Borgata, and that was my first taste of big tournament poker. When you went there, it was like a big jungle. You just hear the chips going crazy, and you're like, oh my God, how can I beat all these people? And then my first tournament, I go in, and before I know it, I'm looking around the room, and there's no more like loud. It's just like a few tables, a couple hundred people left, and I'm like, wow, I'm playing for like 200,000 and a $400 buy-in, and that was like the, as they say, the needle that got me addicted to tournaments. It was just an eye-opening experience and made me want to pursue tournament poker. So Megan, my wife, came into my life as a partner right after I was in college, like a year after or so. Yeah, she's been obviously just my rock and the person I can talk to when things are going really bad, which you need in poker, because 90% of it until you make it is really bad. It's just losing. And just to have someone to go home to and just say, you're good, you're gonna make it, like just keep grinding. It was huge. She's always been a support when I was down, whether I'm up. She keeps me kind of level-headed, constant, which is great. Moving out west and getting settled and everything, I spent a lot of my money. And then I was playing cash games on the way. I remember I went on a little downswing playing cash games, just getting comfortable. And so then I was building it back up. And then when I had that 27K score at Win, I remember I was like, all right, there's a huge series here. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go down here and take a shot. And then I remember at that series, it wasn't going it wasn't going too good for me. I'm pretty sure I got really low on funds, and I remember I was like, I'm just gonna play this satellite. If I don't satellite into it, then I'm just gonna go home. It was a $400 mega satellite that they had there. End up getting the seat from it, and then day one of that tournament, I get a call from Megan, my wife, and she tells me she's pregnant. I'm in this 3,500 now, knowing, okay, I got 2 kids on the way. And then that kind of totally switched my brain, and I said, I need to win. This isn't for fun. I need to win now. And I think that dopamine or whatever happens, that survival instinct kicked in, and I just dominated that tournament. I just remember for it being my first big buy-in, I was fearless. I just went for it, just completely turned into a different player in a way.
Yeah. Knew I'd have him drawn dead too when I got there.
And yeah, that was obviously the start to giving me a good bankroll to actually pursue poker.
I just flew in. My arms are killing me.
That was probably my pinnacle feeling moment for my poker journey, just because it was all right, all the hard work, everything. Now I have 200K, which was where I'm from. That's more money than anyone really has saved up, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of in my head, I just knew that I was gonna parlay it into a lot more. a father has changed my life dramatically, for sure. My goals in poker probably still the same, just because that's how my mind's wired. I've always wanted to be the best, but now it's more, I want to be the best for them, not for me. And it's just like to set up their future, and it's a huge motivation factor.
I mean, he loves our daughters. He's like the best dad. So I think knowing, that he wants to make a good future for them makes him successful in a way, because he's, always trying to be the best.
So obviously I had a huge life moment. I married my wife now, and that was the biggest thing I did, just relaxed. And honestly, for me, I know what to do in the spots. The biggest thing I can do is just get my mind right and just be in the best, mindset for when I go in. So it's not about studying for me as much. I haven't looked at anything. Like, I'm sure these kids are studying every ICM spot possible or whatever. My game plan is just to go in there and try to use their fear against them and just try to dominate. Everything happens so quick in a way for me. It feels like it's been like 4 years since I started playing tournaments, so like I said, I always believed I was going to be one of the best players, but to get to number 1, like GPI ranked, and to be where I'm at now, obviously it feels like a dream, and just feel blessed, and there's millions of people trying to chase this same thing, so to be like at the top, it's unreal, obviously, just very grateful.